Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I love the Nintendo Gamecube. I had one growing up. I've got one here in Australia. And I think as time's gone on, a lot of people are able to look back at the Gamecube and go, you know what? I think we undervalued you. I think you really were a good console. So today I'm going to be giving my opinion on the top 10 games that ever came out for the Gamecube. Now I can understand looking at the PlayStation Top 20 list that a lot of people said, you're kind of scraping the barrel here, and I can understand that. I was. There was a lot of big titles missing, but here with my Gamecube Top 10, I think it's going to be a bit more traditional, as I had that income to be able to buy my own games, so I was able to play a lot of the bigger titles, so I don't think there's going to be many shocks in this list. There are many games I still haven't played. I either have them purchased here ready to play, or because of a certain sea creature, I'm going to be able to play them again in the future. But you've got to let me know what I should be playing, and let me know your top 10, let me know your top games, let me know your favourite game, because that's how the discussion goes, that's how we get more eyes on the channel, with likes, comments, and I love having the fun and the banter with you all. It's good fun. Now, if you do like this channel, as I said, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. And if you want to hear more of me, Retro Wars is a weekly podcast where this week we are looking at Final Fight Streetwise for the PlayStation 2. And we've also got a $1 a month Patreon, which you can find the link in the description below. As I said, I want to hear what you guys think. Mock me if you want, it's all good fun. Let's try and get this to over 10,000 views, because why not? It's great fun. Right, let's get into it, shall we? My top 10 Gamecube games of all time. At number 10, Pokémon Colosseum. Now, ever since Pokémon Stadium, I have been desperate for a new Pokemon game of that sort of thing. Now, Pokemon Colosseum, I was very excited when it came out, and it covers the third generation of Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. However, the thing that was a bit different compared to Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 was that it had its own story, and the story was good. It told a darker tale, and you played as the main character, who was once a Pokemon thief, but then steals the Pokemon Snatcher device and becomes a good guy? I don't know. In the day, he got to be able to steal Pokemon mid-battle, or certain Pokemon, dark Pokemon. And let's be honest, we've all wanted to steal Pokemon. I guarantee everyone here who's played a Pokemon game has tried to steal an opponent's Pokemon. If you have, put it in the comments below, because you know it's true. But here, yes, we can steal dark Pokemon when we see one. This woman, I called her bitch in the last game because she was doing my head, and she has the ability to see what's a dark Pokemon. You can catch it, and then basically you can make it pure again. Either way, the story felt a lot more grown up than what we've had before. Also, the whole thing was double battles, so for me, who loves double battles and actual competitive Pokemon play, it was awesome. But one of the more annoying things about this game was that you got to use Pokemon you weren't usually accustomed to. I was like, give me the good ones. There is a point of the game where you do get to pick one of the Generation 2 starters, either Bayleaf, Croconaw, or Quilava. The answer is Croconaw, never Bayleaf. I actually picked Bayleaf for shits and giggles for the last playthrough to see, come on, let's see how bad this thing is. It was useless. Absolutely useless. I'm sorry, Croconaw. I should have never abandoned you. I thought I was going to go with Suicune as my water Pokemon. I should have always picked you. Bloody terrible. Fucking piece of shit, Chikorita. There was a battle tower, which was cool, where you got to face 100 battles, and let's put it like this, the 100th battle is an absolute doozy. If you're not at the right level, oh my god, you get absolutely punished by Earthquake Protect bollocks. The game could be a little bit on the slow side, but because of a certain sea creature, I had the ability to speed it up, and it made it a much better game. But honestly, the sad thing about this is, we then got a sequel, XD, and a lot of people praise XD. I didn't like it. I did not like the sequel at all. I don't know what it... And I like Lugia. Did not like the sequel. But the original, awesome. Great fun. Number 9, Pikmin. Now, I've only played this recently because of the podcast, and I was wondering how I was going to take it. But you know what? I loved it. Bought this and then got the second one immediately. Now, you play as Captain Olmar, I think it's Olmar, and you crash land on Earth, and then you basically have 30 days to find all his ship parts and get out of the planet, because if you don't do that, you're dead. Yeah, it's pretty grim, he dies. And each day is about 13 minutes, so in reality, you've got 390 in-game minutes to complete this game, or he dies. So grim. But he is unable to be able to pick up the ship parts because they're too heavy, so he finds these little plant-like creatures called Pikmin. And he can basically command these Pikmin to either pick up the pieces, build bridges, collapse walls, fight enemies, and they're so goddamn cute. They're amazing. There's a red one, a yellow one, and a blue one. And it's so cool because you get to manage 100 at a time, and I absolutely love it. The game's like an action... What would you say? Is a puzzle game? Platform? I don't know. I'd say it's more a puzzle game. Someone in the comments can actually say what type of game it is. But I just thought it was so cute. The game actually does require you to manage your time and Pikmin well. Like, you could basically be thinking, crap, I've got 2 minutes to get back to base with this item, but the Pikmin aren't going to be able to carry that item. I need to get them back to the ship, because if I don't get them back to the ship, or the little pod thing they have, they'll get eaten overnight. But you got to think, oh, I need that part. So you have to wait until the next day to get it. So you've got to plan your time wisely, because if you run out of time, I said, he dies. Now, there's about 4 or 5 levels in this game, and basically it looks like you're in an Earth-backed garden. And it's beautiful. It's so much fun. Yes, if you play the second one, it definitely hints it is definitely Earth that you are on. I'm not going to probably give the big reveal spoiler, but either way, it looks so much fun. And when you think about it, Olma, or whatever his name is pronounced, he's about like about a few centimeters tall, and Pikmin aren't that big, but my god, I thought about this, the Pikmin are actually savage little bastards. Literally, they're a plague on the earth, the Pikmin, they really are. But when it comes to the world itself, I loved exploring it. It was just so much fun. And at the end of every day, you get a little insight into Oliver's mind and how he misses his family and he's worried he's never going to get home. It's really compelling, especially when you get to like the last few days. You're like, you know, he's basically never going to see his kids again. Oh, it's just so heartbreaking. Like, I could play that game over and over again and have so much fun. And I'm going to put it out here. I prefer it far more to the second one. I really do. Didn't like the second one as much. People are going to hate me, but that's how I feel. So the second one ain't going to be on this list. And number 8. F-Zero GX. I've played F-Zero X to absolute death on the N64, so when I heard there was a sequel, it was an immediate buy for me. Now, I don't think I've ever been blown away by how good a game is. I think maybe Final Fantasy Remake is possibly, Final Fantasy VII Remake is probably the only other one which has blown my absolute dick off. I just could not believe it. Like, the original was good, but it was always a bit down in its graphics, so the frame rate could remain so high. But this game, F-Zero GX, was like Sega made it what it could be, what it wanted to be. It was brilliant. The cars look great. The tracks look glorious. Oh, the speed. Holy fuck, the speed. You actually felt like you were in the front seat of what is probably the most terrifying race of all time. Like, the step up from the N64 version to the Gamecube version is insane. I just cannot think of a bigger step up in gaming. You also had a story mode, which is quite cool. You got to play as Captain Falcon, and you had to do all these challenges, and they were quite hard. There was one challenge I always used to struggle on, which was basically speed. Captain Falcon has a bomb on the car, and he needs to stay above a certain speed. Basically, instead of a bus, it's a machine capable of going hundreds of miles an hour in an absolute second. And sadly, this was the last real F-Zero game on a main console. I know we've had GBA ones, which is absolutely criminal. I know people could sit there and argue, well, there's going to be a fear it would cannibalize Mario Kart, but I really don't think that will happen because it's so different to Mario Kart. And they sorted out Nintendo. You put it on the Virtual Console, just give us 52 player, or give us 30, 52 player F-Zero. Oh my god, heaven. And the console probably eat itself, but either way, it'd be so goddamn cool. And number 7, Resident Evil. Now, I was never the biggest fan of the PlayStation original. I had played the original Resident Evil, I didn't really like it. I felt it was too bright, slow, clunky, and the voice acting, oh god, we all know it was cheesy as fuck, but I didn't like it. But here, with the deal that Capcom made with Nintendo, one of the first projects that we're going to receive was a total remake of the first, and the results were absolutely goddamn spectacular. With a more powerful console, the game remained in basically just a new coat of paint, but it's really thought this is what it should have been. The character models were far smoother, and because we had the stationary camera, it allowed Capcom to focus on those pre-rendered backgrounds and the lighting and made it so much haunting and so detailed. Like, you can play that game right now and it holds up brilliantly. Like, it turned what was a very silly over-the-top horror game, the PlayStation 1, to a real true fight for survival. There's no running around playing this game. Every creak, groan, and dogs flying through the goddamn fucking window. Honestly, I pooped myself. Additionally, the game added Crimson Heads, which were more powerful zombies who, when you killed the original zombie, you hadn't set it on fire, would come back, you could see it's going to happen, would jump up and attack you. They had these big massive claws and they were harder to kill, and oh my god, my bum was like diarrhea at this point. There's an image for you. They still haunt me to this day, and I'm still surprised we've never seen them in another Resident Evil game. Earlier, though, I did say it was just a new look of paint. It's not entirely true. The game did add new puzzles, it had a new explorable area, and a subplot of the tragic Lisa Trevor to kind of keep that game feeling fresh, and oh my god, it did a good job. As far as remakes go, Resident Evil could be considered one of the best ever made, although Resident Evil 2 and 4 and Final Fantasy 7 may disagree with that, and others could probably point out other examples. But as a remake, I think Resident Evil is probably up there in the top 10. At number 6, Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, after the success of Mario Kart 64, the pressure's on here, and Double Dash, it's a bit of a hit and miss for some people. I thought it was really good. I thought it was great. And it started where we got the common feel of how modern day Mario Kart feels. Like if you were to compare the Switch version of Mario Kart 8 to it's closer to Double Dash than it closer to the N64 version. The big gimmick of Double Dash was that you could choose 2 riders and they could mix and match and switch if necessary and also have their own weapon. So it wasn't just the weight classes, but it was with special items. So for example, Mario and Luigi got fireballs, Bowser and Bowser Jr., the bell end, I hate Bowser Jr., they got a large spiked shell, so you could either have Mario and Luigi just have fireballs, or you could have Mario who's got his fireballs and Bowser Jr. who had the spiked shell. This mix and match meant it was great for different combinations, and obviously with the weight classes, it was so much fun. And there were 16 characters, that's gone up from the initial 8, with an additional 4 secret ones to make 20, so over double, 2.5 times the previous game, which was brilliant. Had some amazing tracks like DK Mountain and the much loved, or much hated, Baby Park. And they also brought in different karts for riders to use. Like, I played this game for hours, but not with my brother. I played this with his mate Matty. I don't know why, but me and him, like, I would drive and he would fire. It was just so much fun. But sadly, we've never seen the mechanic ever again, and I don't really know why. Someone could argue why. And number 5, The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker. Bit of a shock. Some of you thinking, whoa, this is a bit low. Well, maybe, but some people might have it higher. And in turn, it could come higher in the future. Like, let's be honest, when this game was first shown, the hatred was there, and I was the same. We all wanted the Twilight Princess artwork. I think we all have to admit that's what we wanted. When we saw Cell Shaded, we were like, what the fuck is this? But let's be honest, it's beautiful, and it still holds up today. Now, for those who don't know, bit of a tidbit, this isn't a spoiler, this game is actually set hundreds of years after the Ocarina of Time, because what happened is after the Ocarina of Time, Link was sent back to his own timeline. And then Ganondorf got free, and they were like, oh shit, the gods are like, what are we going to do? We haven't got the Hero of Time, so the Hero of Time's not coming because they can't be arsed. So the gods' answer was flood the world, possibly killing everyone. Like, seriously, how many people probably died due to their decision? I don't think they probably give everyone a good warning. They probably just killed everyone. Barely any Gorons, they're all probably dead. Either way, everyone's now evolved to live on little islands and on their boats. And this Link in this game is living a peaceful life, whereas his sister gets abducted and he has to team up with a band of pirates led by their captain Tetra, who's holding a big secret, although she doesn't know. The Wind Waker encouraged exploration, and you basically did a lot of that on the big ocean. Now, a lot of people have said it's too big and too wide, and there's a bit of annoying bits at the end, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the exploration, and it was very peaceful. What was also, it had great combat, which was built on from Ocarina and Majora's Mask. There were great characters like Ganondorf, like seriously, he's a badass in this game. Like honestly, the final battle between him and Link is awesome. Awesome. Now, this game has been re-released on the Wii U as a HD remake, and we keep begging it for it to come out on the Switch, and I'm sitting there going, why Nintendo? That's easy money, why not? At number 4, SoulCalibur II. One of the best fighting games of all time, and its predecessor could also be considered godlike. Like, I hadn't played much of the original SoulCalibur as it was on the Dreamcast, but let's not gonna lie here, when it came to the Gamecube version, I was always gonna get this because of one Link. Link was a guest character in the Gamecube version, and it was a huge draw for Nintendo fans. Like, I think that was the best-selling one out of the 3. Like, he was absolutely perfect for it. He fit straight in, he had his bow, his boomerang, his bombs, and the Master Sword. And I was one of those who used him. Yes, of course I did. The only thing that could have stopped me buying this version was if Heihachi wasn't in the PlayStation version and it was Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. That is a question for myself. Would I have got the PlayStation version? I think I would have got the PlayStation version. Other people could argue, you know, would you have got the PS2 version if it was Cloud, or would you have stuck with the Nintendo version? Like, aside from Link, take out that. The presentation of this game was awesome. It played incredibly at 60 frames per second, still holds up today. It's such a good fighting game. It is just mwah, chef's kiss. I honestly think it's the best fighting game on the system by a mile. It had an amazing weapon master mode where you had like certain conditions where you had to win a certain time limit, or you had to kick off the enemy, or you were poisoned, or you had to go and use different weapons. And yes, Link had all his different weapons. It was just so good. And when I rebought a GameCube, SoulCalibur 2 was one of the first games I purchased for it, and it's sitting there. Yep, I've got it, the original version, and oh god. And it's about time it got released for Nintendo Switch 2, even though I haven't got a Nintendo Switch 2. It's nice to see it there. And number 3, Metroid Prime. Now, prior to Prime, I'd never actually played a Metroid game, and this was my first ever introduction to the series, which I know is probably maddening for some people. So Prime takes place on Talon 4, and as usual, Samus loses her suit abilities because shenanigans, and she has to basically go and gain those abilities back. This is a true Metroidvania, but in 3D. But what I found so impressive about this game was the sense of atmosphere. I used to play this game in the dark, like no light or anything, it was just me and the screen, and I really felt like I was on the planet. The world felt so alive, and the environment was always actually telling the story, which I find that's rarely done in video games. Although, yes, this is a 3D shooter, it shouldn't really be seen as a 3D shooter because it's more of a platformer exploring game. It's a hard one to explore. The whole point is that you want to learn about the world, so try and scan everything and you can learn so much. Also about the Chozo who have left stuff, the pirates and what they've been up to. I love the graphics, and even though we've had a remaster, I really didn't think you even need the remaster because the GameCube version is just as good. Exploring the world is fun. It just felt free, it felt peaceful, you really felt the last person on that planet. But then the pirates come in and the combat kicks in, and you feel absolutely chaotic. I loved it. Like any bosses, I felt it was energetic. I really felt like I was Samus. Especially those moments against Ridley, like you stupid big dragon pterodactyl fucking big bird. The biggest crime I have is that I haven't played Prime 2 or 3 yet. And number 2, Smash Bros. Melee. I'll say Melee. What more can you say about this game? Smash Bros. Melee took what was an experimental game to be one of the biggest game series ever made. With the previous game, Nintendo knew they had something big and they gave it a complete overhaul, which included all the characters, which meant Pikachu was no longer broken, and I didn't like that because Pikachu was so OP in the first game and I loved him. It also increased the roster from 12 to 26 if you consider Zelda and Sheik are different people, including now bad guys Bowser and Ganondorf. But also Roy and Marth? Who the fuck are Roy and Marth? I guarantee that's what everyone felt when they saw this game. To be fair, I do love Fire Emblem now, so thank you very much, and I never complain when a Fire Emblem character gets added, because I'm like, oh, I played that one, so I'm fine with it. But at the time I was like, who the fuck? At the end of the day, Melee set the standard for the series, and aside from Ultimate, Melee is still played competitively today. I keep looking and waiting for it to be on the Switch too, but I don't know why they've not released it there. I'll admit I didn't play this version as much as the N64 version, but I know it's still really good. And number 1, Resident Evil 4. It was always going to be this one. If you know me well enough, it was always going to be this. So as I said earlier, prior to Resident Evil 4, I wasn't big into the series, but this changed with 4. Capcom in that deal with Nintendo had a few options on the table, and they made the remake of Resident Evil 1. They also took a huge chance and turned the game from a horror to an action horror. Yes, this game is still bloody, but it's definitely an action game. There are moments of horror though, and let's be honest, the sound of the chainsaw still horrifies me to this day. If I hear someone doing gardening, I'm honestly pooping myself. The game took place 6 years after the Raccoon City incident, and Leon Kennedy is now working for the US government, sent off to Spain to rescue the president's kidnapped daughter Ashley Graham. But this time there were no zombies, it's villagers who have been infected with a mind-controlling parasite called Las Plagas, turning them into the Ganados. At the end of the day, this game brought not just the action, but it brought a revolutionary new camera angle, this third person over the shoulder, which now we see in so many games today. The Granados were a breath of fresh air compared to the zombies because they weren't actually dum-dums. They could climb, they could throw things, they could work together, they could use weapons, and it was just a breath of fresh air, especially when you pop their head off and then suddenly this parasite thing's coming at you like, holy shit, that's an absolute monster. Also, it introduced the Merchant, because oh my god, the Merchant is one of the greatest characters in all the video games, just because he has the phrase, "What you buying?" And I love that phrase. I'm not gonna lie, going around to people just going, "What you buying?" just sounds absolutely amazing. I love the atmosphere of this game, like that rural village in Spain to the castle setting. Okay, the last section was a bit chaotic and a bit gun-filled, but who cared, it was all good fun. And considering how scary all this is, Leon still didn't really care and had his little quips like "where's everyone going?" Bingo is absolutely superb. It also has one of the best doggies ever in gaming. You will save that doggy. If you do not save that doggy, I will hate you forevermore. Like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4 also got an upscale remake, and oh my god, it's absolutely beautiful, especially on a PS5. It just looks so crisp, and Leon just plays so well. I love blowing up things. But either way, going back to the original Resident Evil 4 on the Gamecube still brings me so much happiness. I have played this game so many times, so many playthroughs to get all the secrets, all the rewards. I've done all the mercenary stuff. I just can't get enough of this game. I played it on the Gamecube, I played it on the PlayStation 2. I just fell in love with it. And when I first started university, this was the game I was playing, and Final Fantasy X all the bloody time. So yeah, not really a big surprise with this list. But as I said, there are plenty of games I still haven't played, plenty of games which could potentially come onto this list, so you've got to let me know which game is your favourite, which games need to come off my list and be replaced, and which I should be playing right now. As I said at the beginning, if you do think I deserve it, please leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you all on Monday for a new video. Until then, you all take care of yourself. My name's been Danny. Follow your dreams.